Fire propagation is something I kinda avoided for a long time, and yet it is one of the most prominent features in immersive sims, especially modern ones. But what exactly is the problem with fire? Well, the main problem is that pretty much everyone knows how fire works. And when you know how something works in real life, you'd expect it to work more or less in a similar way in video games. Even more so in immersive sims. So once you see you can set something on fire, you'll try the same with other objects in the world. Naturally, that won't work because video games can only capture reality in a very limited way. So you might be able to set a torch on fire, or you might be able to even set some other dynamic objects on fire, but everything that would be inflammable in reality, no chance. And of course, it isn't any different in Monomyth. But that doesn't mean it can't be a fun little subsystem. My initial idea was relatively simple. Certain objects in the game can be set on fire. They burn a while and are destroyed. While they are burning, they gradually damage and set near objects on fire. And the whole process is repeated. So how did I go about the implementation of this? Well, in an ideal world, all inflammable objects would share a single class hierarchy without redundancies or multiple inheritance. But we are not living in that world. We are living in the world of multiple class hierarchies and single inheritance. So instead, I had to come up with a simple way to equip different classes with the properties of an inflammable object, so I could at least avoid the effort of redundant implementations, not to mention the potential bugs. In case you are familiar with the design pattern, what I basically did was an Unreal Engine style bastardization of the decorator pattern. All inflammable objects implement the inflammable entity interface. However, instead of processing the method calls on their own, these objects forward the calls to a child actor, a so-called fire volume. And all that child actor does is to activate the particle system for the flames and repeatedly call the damage method on all actors that are close to it. That of course also contains the parent actor. Once the parent actor is destroyed, the fire volume is destroyed with it, and all damage calls are halted. To actually set an object on fire, the player can use a spell, utility items, a torch, or more creative ways. To balance out the resource input a bit, I'm giving the torch extra durability damage while the player is setting things on fire with it. You have to be a bit careful with the whole system if you wish to keep it performant. For example, damage calls are only done every 0.5 seconds. I also did not want to do constant box traces to see whatever is close to an actor. Instead, the fire volume keeps track of close actors by holding them in an array once they are in range. I like to believe that is more performant, though I lack the performance test to really prove it. I might be wrong on that. There's reason to believe that the physics objects actually do more overlap calls this way, because a movable volume will be rechecking close actors during the physics system update. At what number of burning objects box traces become more performant than the physics system, I cannot say at this point. Rigid body simulation in UE4 is handled by NVIDIA Physics, so I suppose it's quite fast. I might still rework this system after more testing though. If you liked this video, please feel free to check out the other parts of this devlog. See you soon!